you. It's going to go over some information about who we are as an agency and then also the services we offer through the youth team. So Access Living is a center for independent living that serves the city of Chicago. This means we are a local, disability, consumer controlled, cross disability, non-residential, private nonprofit. As a center for independent living, we believe in dignity, community integration, civil rights, and equal access for all people with disabilities. I just like to explain to people, no one lives at Access Living. We work with consumers to provide services and to do advocacy work and policy work to support them in living in the community. Our vision is to see a world free from barriers and discrimination, where disability is respected and a natural part of the human experience, and people with disabilities are included and valued. Our mission is that we ignite disability power and pride, provide critical services, and break down systemic barriers to create a stronger, more inclusive society. So all of the work we do encompasses our vision and our mission within it. So we have 5 core services at Access Living: advocacy, independent living skills, transition support, peer support, information, and referral. I'd like to kind of break us into 2 sections of advocacy and policy versus independent living. Our independent living department is broken into 3 separate areas. We work to move people out of nursing homes who want to move out with community supports. And then we support people in the community with disabilities by providing financial literacy, peer support groups, housing support, personal assistance support, home modification support if they need it, or durable medical equipment if they need it. And then we have information and referral underneath that department as well. And then there's our team, which is the youth team, which is the 3rd tier of the independent living team department. And we will get into more detail about who we are and what we do. I just want to give you a little bit of information on a program called Financial Literacy at Access Living. Financial literacy is ran by Carlita Johnson, and she's certified. It is, it is a 12-week-long program. Participants are equipped with materials and tools to help them better manage and take control of their personal finances. The goal of the program is to raise consumers' awareness about the benefits of learning more about their financial matters. This curriculum that they are using is FDIC, National Financial Education Curriculum, and it's called Money Smart. And the program is for people who are 16 years and older. Carlita focuses on the 5 areas that are listed here: how to open and maintain a checking and savings account, strategies and tools to help you save money, understanding consumer protection laws, and understanding your credit report and raising your credit score. She leads a group, but she also is able to work one-to-one with you, or if you have a youth who is 16 years or older and you want them to meet with her, she's very happy to include them in the group or work with them independently. If you attend the group, I believe it's $7 per group that you acquire, and that stipend is to help develop a banking account, increase your credit score, and the person who attends also receives a certificate of completion, but if they attend all the groups, complete the program. This is a really great financial literacy programming. You can reach out to Carlita Johnson. Her contact is down below. If you're interested, and if you are a person with a disability and you want to attend this group, you can reach out to her and attend it. Or if you have a youth 16 years or older, they can attend it as well. So the youth team has 5 main areas of service. Our programs are Fast Track program, DJMC, which is Disability Justice Mentoring Program, Reaching Our Dreams, Enrichment Program, and Y.I.E.L.D. We're going to get into more detail about each of those programs, what they do, and who's the coordinator and who qualifies for them. So the first program is the Fast Track program, and Chinette is going to take over and tell you a little bit about it.
Sure. The Fast Track program, this is an introductory program. Teachers, students with disabilities about pre-employment. We talk to them about what is a resume, how to write a resume, a cover letter, interviewing skills, also post-secondary education, transitional services. We talk to them about their options based on their career choices and teaching them the difference between a 4-year college versus a 2-year college. Also training programs. Also, we talk to them about self-advocacy skills and disability history awareness. We teach them about disability history awareness, understanding what their accommodations are, and learning how to ask for accommodations. This program is a 7-week curriculum, 1 hour per session. Right now it's virtually. We also working on a work site tour for volunteering opportunities for them as well. The eligibility is 14 to 21 years old. The students cannot have an open active DRS case, that is the rehab services. They also need to have proof of disability, which is an IEP or a 504 medical diagnosis, a social security number, and they have to live in the Chicago area. The days and the time will depend on the teachers of the youth who are participating, and it will be on Google Hangouts. Also, we offer one-on-one with them as well.
And I just wanted to jump in and mention, because I think there's more parents on here than teachers, maybe I'm incorrect. But if you are a parent and you have a student that you want to attend this program, you can reach out to us. At the end, I give you all the contact information for everyone, and we can release PowerPoint to whoever is interested. If Mary would like to release it to anyone who attends, we can send it to you and you can give it to them. But if this is a program you want your youth to attend, you can let us know, or you can let the teacher, that any special ed teacher, social worker, counselor, or principal at your student's school, let them know that you want your student to attend this program, and then they can get in contact with us. Or like I said, you can get in contact with us and we'd be happy to reach out to the teachers, counselors, principals. We also can always talk about just doing one-to-one work and doing this program as a one-to-one support to your student, as opposed to doing it during the school day, during class time, because that's when this normally happens. We work with a teacher, they identify students, we implement it during school time. It doesn't have to be that way. If that's not an option for your student, we can do it one-to-one outside of school hours.
Okay, so these are the 5 lessons. We have job exploration counseling, career exploration for in-demand occupations, as well as non-traditional employment, identifying careers of interest. We also have the work-based learning experience, on-the-job experience and training employer, paid work experience, work site tour jobs, shadowing, internship, entrepreneurship, and short-term employment. The third one is post-secondary education, advisement and academy curriculum, career options, information on college applications and admissions, process completing the FAFSA, academic and occupational training need to successful workplace, and providing disability support services. We also have the workplace readiness trainings and skills areas other than vocational development that students will need to function independently in the community. Skills area may be used public transportation, meal preparation, money management, communication, interpersonal skills, job seeking skills, and understanding employers' expectations. Also, we have the self-advocacy instructions. That's learning about responsibilities on how to request accommodations for services, as well as being able to communicate any thoughts, concerns, or need while seeking these services.
So I just wanted to point out, so when Trinette said that this is a 7-week curriculum, our curriculum is pulled off of these 5 areas that she just read through. So your student will learn about this information.
Hi, everybody. This is Mary Lee. I'm the DJMC coordinator. It stands for Disability Justice Mentoring Collective. For this particular program, the youth must live in Austin, have a disability, be between the ages of 12 through 22, and willing to commit to attending the program 5 hours a month. So what we do is we cover subjects like trauma and conflict resolution, disability history, disability awareness, and other subjects that we also have fun too. We have, we show movies and have discussions. We play games. We talk about different topics that the youth might be interested in. So right now, it's usually on Thursdays on Zoom, and it's usually at 4 and it goes till 5:30 or 6.
So Reaching Our Dreams is an independent living skills program that we implement. It covers the 5 areas: effective communication, reality check, disability history and awareness, transportation, self-care, and independent living skills. It is curriculum-based that we've created. Usually it's 5 weeks long for an hour each week. Typically, this is another program that we work with teachers and identify a class of students with disabilities that we think would benefit from this program. We implement it during the school day. However, yet again, if you have students that you think would benefit from this program, we can always talk about leading a group outside of school hours and doing this program. There is no real age limit. However, we tend to focus on working with youth who are in junior high through the age of 22. And you could have any kind of disability, physical, mental, cognitive. We don't ask for any kind of proof of disability, just that the student identifies as an individual with a disability.
Okay, so enrichment program. The eligibility for the enrichment program, this is for the Austin area. We're looking to recruit youths from 11 to 13 years old, 11 to 13 youths. The ages are 14 to 18 years old. The youth have to have a disability. And the descriptions of the program is the fast track program, the Y.I.E.L.D, Reaching Our Dreams, basically focusing on the volunteering work, writing resumes, cover letters, applying for colleges is depending on the ages of or post-secondary education skills.
And Trina, I just want to jump in. So the enrichment program is an after-school program. So it's meant for students after school hours are over. And as Trina stated, because this is very specific, it's only for students who live in the Austin area of Chicago. And that's because of our funding source. They've asked us to focus on this one area. Sorry, Trina, you can continue.
That's fine. So, and it's after school, so the days will be Monday through Fridays. Whatever the time will be determined, and they are virtual groups. And we work independently And we also can do one-on-ones with the youth as well, but it will be after school hours.
And with this program, again, if you have a student who you think would benefit from this program, you guys live in the Austin area, they're between the ages of 14 and 18, they have a disability, you can reach out to either the coordinators. Trinette is one of them, Emily is another one. We will share this PowerPoint so you can refer to it. Every day they're going to focus on programming, which is listed that Trinette went over, but they also will help with homework or any other goals that your student has. Our goal is that they walk away from this program with a resume and a cover letter and understanding how to look for jobs. That's kind of the purpose of this program.
Okay, so YIELD. YIELD stands for Youth Information, Education, Leadership, and Development. Usually a teacher, a caseworker, or a parent can contact me to schedule a training for a group of youth. It's usually for groups of 8 to 20, but you have less than 8, you can still reach out to me. This is for youth with disabilities, and there's really no particular age range, but we can always discuss it to make sure that the curriculum is appropriate. It's 3 to 4 sessions long virtually. Usually it's in person though, but now we're doing it virtually, so it's about 1 hour long. In person, it's about 2 hours long. And the curriculum covers disability history, disability awareness, identifying as a person with the disability and feeling empowered. So it's a leadership program for youth to learn how to be a leader in the disability community.
So that's all of our programs that we have to present to you today. Like I said, this is all of the contact information, and for each program, the individuals who the individuals who oversee those programs are listed on the programming pages. So we could share this with you guys.
Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions they want to share? You can unmute yourself if you do. Okay, I'll ask a few. So you said all of these programs right now are virtual, correct? Okay, and can you explain the ones that are coming through school versus the ones that are coming directly from you? And Kelly says, how is the employment plan program working virtually?
So I can answer hers first. How is the employment program working virtually? It's curriculum based. So we're not placing students in an employment. Our goal is to teach them, it's introductory. So it's just teaching them about a resume, a cover letter, how to look for jobs, how to interview, how to ask for accommodations based on their disability. It also covers secondary education options. So as China had mentioned, we cover what your options might be, like a 4-year college, a 2-year college, a training program. And then we also go into disability history, disability awareness. We give them a copy of their IEPs to refer to and have them look to see what their disability is and what accommodations they get because of that disability. We do strongly believe that a student should know what their disability is and what accommodations they get so that they can ask for those in the future, in a job site, in the school setting, wherever they might need some kind of accommodations. We want to empower them to be able to know what those are and ask for those. So that's how the employment program works. It's not about we don't have a program where we place student in employment. However, the one thing we do is a virtual job site tour. So typically in person, we would bring them to a job site and we do a tour of a workplace and talk about employment opportunities and movement within that workplace. And because of COVID, it's just not safe to bring groups of people into a lot of places. We have worked with a couple different places to identify and create a virtual worksite tour. So one is the library. They're working, the Harold Washington Library. They're working on a worksite tour for us. And the other one is the Anti-Cruelty Society. They have created a worksite tour for us. So when we do those, we're gonna show the tour, and then an employee of the worksite will be present to talk about job opportunities that they have there, talk about movement within those work sites and how if you get one job, you can then move into another one, and then answer any questions the students might have about work sites. So does that answer that question?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, sorry. And so Mary, your question, what?
My question was, which of these can people access directly through you, and which are kind of going through the school system?
Yeah, so really the only one that can be directly connected is Mary Lee's mentoring group, DJMC. However, you have to live in the Austin area. The student has to live in the Austin area to qualify for that program. All the other programs really go through a teacher, counselor, some individual. However, on that note, if you contact us and say you have a student that you want to attend any of our programs, we will work with you. If the school isn't getting on board with the program, then we will do the program with your student one-to-one. Or we might make a little group, you know, a small, if there's several students at different schools and we can't get into those schools, we could do it outside of school hours. So we can get creative, we can make it work. You know, we just want to get these services to your students.
Can I ask you a question? I know, you know, certain programs are from Austin or some of the other areas, but I think somebody mentioned Chicago area for others. Is that true, or do you truly have to live in Chicago?
You have to live in Chicago for all of our programs because we are a Chicago-based organization.
Sure.
If you have students who live outside of Chicago and you want them to be exposed to one of our programs, reach out to us, because there are other centers for independent living in other locations. So for example, Oak Park has Progress Center, has Fast Track. So if you wanted them to do that pre-employment continuing ed program, Progress Center can work with your student. However, if you wanted your student to do Y.I.E.L.D or DJMC and they live in the Austin area, or I guess you have to live in the, that doesn't qualify, Y.I.E.L.D or Reaching Our Dreams. And if Progress Center doesn't have those programs, a lot of times we'll work with them and we'll implement the program for your student. So it's best to just reach out to us and we'll guide you and to who to speak to.
Thanks. Great.
Any other questions? You can put it in the chat if you have them. Can you ladies answer some general transition questions as well?
Yeah.
The one that comes to mind is, I know there are kids who are kind of graduated before they're ready, kids with IEPs, and they could use a transition year or two post high school graduation age. What do you recommend for parents who are up against you know, a school team that is recommending graduation over transition?
Chris, do you have any, do you want to, I mean, I can give you my thoughts, but Chris
let me
is a
Let me
professional.
start, then I think Katie, you can chime in. Yes, so in Illinois, students with disabilities can stay at high school, and they can receive transition-related services until they turn 22 years old. So that's the law. But then there are times that, as Mary asked, like the school team says, oh, like Johnny can graduate. But as a parent, you feel like, I know Johnny needs to stay and then get more, needs to learn more about, let's say, resume or some job skills training or something. So I would say that first of all, as an advocacy point, I'd say that you want to maximize what you can get from the system, because once they graduate, they are treated as just other individuals. So you just don't see the same level of services you are used to see. So what you can say is, I mean, one advocacy argument would be that Johnny is not ready to like achieve his goal. Let's say Johnny was planning to work at the zoo, and then this transition services, Johnny is not just ready to apply for the job at Brookfield Zoo. Then you can point it out, in others to apply for that job and work there, there should be more, let's say, some skills training or job site interview practice or something like that. So you can basically point it out what's necessary to achieve the transition goal. So, but transition goal should be pretty then specific. If it's specific, it's more helpful for you to say what are the needs here. So that's what I would say there. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, there are options if they're in a high school. You know, I know Mary, you mentioned your son is at Southside Occupational. There are several occupational schools that they can transition over to. So there's Southside, there's Ray Graham, and there's Vaughn that come to mind. And those are great schools where your student can stay in until they age out and they get occupational education and support. I think at all of them, they end up doing some kind of workplace training. They're really great schools. They all have really wonderful teachers. So there's that opportunity for them to stay. Also, there are programs, they aren't free, but there's a program at National Lewis called PACE, P-A-C-E, and it's an independent living skills training, a workplace readiness training opportunity for students. It does cost money, but it is a 3-year program, and students live in the dorm setting. They learn how to live in the dorm setting. They learn different job skills. They get internship opportunities. And then I think their last year they get a work site opportunity where they're actually getting paid. So there are some other ways to continue to receive education before they're kind of in the community trying to work, but also after they've transitioned, making sure they have an adult DRS case and getting vocational rehab service support through DRS. So the students open their cases in high school for the most part, their DRS cases for voc rehab services. Upon leaving high school, after they've aged out, once they have their certificate, it's your responsibility and the student's responsibility to make sure that DRS counselor switches the case over to adult services. And a lot of times they don't do that. And if they don't do that, that case is closed. If they don't switch it over to adult services, your student no longer has a DRS case and you have to go back to the office and reopen the case. And I don't think a lot of people know that. I think that information gets missed a lot. So upon graduation, like a month after, once they have their certificate, contact their DRS counselor, switch it over to adult services, then they can work with voc rehab programs. So Marriott Burgess is a great program, and they offer job voc rehab services for people with disabilities. And there are several others that do that as well. And so your student can get connected to a job placement counselor and voc services.
And you mentioned the National Lewis program. Are there some districts that pay for that, or that you know of?
Unfortunately, no. And I've been informed you cannot take out financial support for it. It's not like a scholarship program, because it's not technically, you're not walking away with a college degree, you're walking away with a certification. But, you know, I would talk with them. I know, especially in the times that we live in right now, they might be willing to kind of work out some kind of plan with people, because I know they don't want this program to go away. And I have been told that there are other schools, other colleges that have these kind of independent living voc employment service programming. I don't know what they are, but they're available in other locations, not just here.
Okay. All right, I was just looking at the chat. Does anyone else have questions? Because I have more, if necessary. But I want to make sure that everyone in our meeting here has a chance to get their questions answered.
I have a question. If a student is placed out of district and out of state for high school, how do these programs dovetail in that situation? Must the family wait until the student is back in Illinois, or can any of this be kind of set up while the student is in the program they've been placed in by Chicago Public Schools?
So you're saying a student who is out of Illinois that you'd want in one of our youth programs?
Well, potentially. I mean, the DRS issue is another piece of it. But yeah, so the student is still technically a CPS student, but just placed out of district.
I mean, for all of our programs, like I had said, we could do one-to-one. So like the fast track program where we do job readiness, continuing education, disability history and awareness, essentially we could do it one-to-one with that student, or because that student is out of district, there might be another center for independent living that might be able to implement their program within your student's school setting. It kind of is dependent on that situation. And I think I think it's a little more detailed. A lot of our programs like Reaching Our Dreams or Y.I.E.L.D, we could discuss how that could look too. It's kind of, it would look a little different than normal, and it kind of is dependent on where your student's at and if we need to connect them with a different SIL. For DRS, they look at where you live. So, or where that's for adult services, they look at the student's home address. I'm not sure, you'd have to ask them more though, if they're outside of Chicago. DRS would be a better agency to discuss that in more detail with, or the counselor at the school that the students at. You might want to have a conversation with them about it, because usually the special ed teachers and counselors are the ones who enroll the students with DRS. So they would better answer that one for you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Something that occurs to me is that the vocational programs that CPS has are great. My son has had a great experience there. I'm wondering about the kids who are more academically able, that they kind of miss out on the bridge to being able to go to community college or even regular college. That it connects a little bit to what I was talking about before, but do you know of any programs outside of the three main CPS vocational schools that would help kids like with executive functioning issues, needing to mature a little? Do you know if there are any programs like that affiliated with CPS or available?
I don't. Office of Diverse Learners is a great resource to connect with as well. The transition team there, they do have, which you guys I'm sure know of, but they have their transition fair. And they do like to pull in agencies who do all sorts of services for their CPS students to those transition fairs. So I would encourage you to think about attending that transition fair. I know it is open to parents. I know they're doing it virtually this year, and then I believe they're spreading it through a couple of days. So I would reach out to that team to get that information shared with all of you guys, because if there is that service, they're the team who would know.
I'm going to go back to one of your slides. I remember seeing reality check, but can you talk about that as far as?
So the reality check lesson is a lesson where we talk to the students about how to live independently. What are the options? It's it's a fun lesson. We talk to them about, housing options, apartments, living in a home, or, renting, owning. What do you think is cheaper? What do you think is more affordable? Is it cheaper to live on your own or with somebody else? What would you want to do? And we talk to them about that. And we talk to them about bills and what kind of bills you have to pay when you're living on your own, especially renting versus owning. We talk to them about transportation when you're living on your own. A lot of them will say they want a car. So then we talk to them about all the things that come with owning a car and what that actually looks like. And then, it goes through a whole bunch of independent living topics related to things we all deal with that really, they might not have been exposed to or talked with anyone about, or they have, preconceived notions of what certain things are, and we kind of break it down for them. So it's just giving them a reality check on what it is to live outside your parents' home.
Let's see. Chris says, Easter Seals offers employment training and other transition related programs, and she put the link in the chat. Anyone else have questions for our lovely advocate friends at Access Living? Rose, did you want to say something?
Yes,
Go ahead.
my concern is this is my son's last year, and this past school year, and now he's in the core program where he's learning like job skills and getting him ready for the work field. My concern is because from March until now, he's not in person doing the things physically. And I commend all the teachers and aides. They're working so hard with our children to keeping them engaged and updated on the program. But my concern is in March, my son, the day before his birthday, he will be done with school. But that's because of the, I don't know how you say, the law that's in place that they have to stop the day before their 22nd birthday. And I'm hoping that that bill gets passed, that they can stay until June, especially to make up the services lost during this pandemic. So I don't know, do you think, is there any hope of that bill passing?
That particular bill, I believe that was last year's bill. As far as I know, it didn't pass. But right now, I can tell you, I'm the part of that discussion that many advocates, including even school administrators, we've been discussing this issue that the group of students are about to graduate without really getting the in-person experience. So we've been like discussing to find any possible solution, or is there any way to extend the period over 22-year-old? But at this moment, there is no fixed idea. But we've been planning to reach out to the governor's office and the SpEd to talk about that issue. Yeah. Please sign up our advocacy letter. So if there is any update, it will be there. Yes.
Here's
It might-
Lisa Armanda. She's one of our ISB monitors. She could probably speak to this a little.
So I mean, I don't think I know that that bill is dead or dying, but I did want to just add a suggestion maybe that no matter what happens before your son's 22nd birthday, you can request a compensatory education meeting to talk about skills that he's lost. So even though the school district doesn't have an obligation past 22, you can still say, look, I have, you know, he has lost all these skills due to the pandemic and due to this, and see if the school district would be willing to fund some sort of program for you for that to make up for the lost skills.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Lisa. Any other questions?
Hi, this is here. Here again. Hi. I was skimming your Access Living webpage, and on the section of youth mentoring, and I don't see our neighborhood listed on the ones that can get a mentor. So if we are not listed, is there a way we still can get our kid, you know, under the youth mentorship program?
No, unfortunately, that program is only for the Austin area, and that's due to our funders' expectations. So we are not able to enroll other students from other areas into that specific program.
Okay. Is there any program you will, you know, it would be very interesting for us to have a mentorship with him, see the results of that. Is there any other program in Chicago you will recommend us to?
You know, I'm not sure. A lot of the mentoring programs are funded through the city of Chicago, and the city of Chicago has provided us a list with specific areas to choose from. And those areas are like high crime, trauma, conflict areas. So Lincoln Park, that area, that's not on the list. You could look into and seek out like the Boys and Girls Club, or the YMCA might have a mentorship program. But I don't know of any mentorship program at this time that's just general to the whole city of Chicago anymore, just because I know a lot of them are funded through the city. And and the ones we had connections with are also just specific to specific areas now. So Mary Lee, would you suggest Mentor Illinois that they
Yeah, there is a website, Mentor Illinois, and I can send Mary that information that I have. And I would definitely look into that, because there are a slew of other mentoring programs, but I'm not sure if they're specific to a certain area. You know, there's the college mentoring program in Austin, and you know, there's different programs, but like I said, I can get Mary that information. I have a sheet with the website.
All right, thank you, Mary Lee. Thanks so much. Thank you.
So just so y'all know, I will be sending out the PowerPoint from today and any other information that you want to give me, Access Living. I can forward it to everyone who registered for the call today. And I will. So that's coming, y'all. So any other questions? Okay, any last comments you want to make before we wrap this up?
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, we just want to thank everyone for attending, coming to learn about our programs.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate you guys for coming on, joining with us.
Hi, sorry, I have another question. I'm Carmen, I'm the real Carmen. The other one was my husband. And my question is, we are really confused about how my son is like in the spectrum, but it's not, he has not the characteristics of the autism very strong, but it's not functional neither. So it's not so bad, but not so good. And of course he needs some transition program, but we don't know how to have a guide. So maybe you mentioned to try to find the diverse learner office and then to contact them to try to figure it out with a transition person to speak with him and show all the map testing and show all the I don't know what, we don't know how to start. He's now in 7th grade.
Carmen, I would recommend contacting Family Resource Center on Disabilities, and they will set you up with an advocate to look over your son's information and give recommendations or at least walk you through your options. They are a federally funded agency that is their sole purpose is to support people with disabilities, and your taxes are paying for it. So a lot of people don't know that it even exists. It's frcd.org. Is that right? Yeah. And they're a great resource. They usually ask that you attend one of their general Know Your Rights trainings before they take you on, basically because they just want to make sure that you know what you need to know to move forward. So they're a great resource. And feel free to email me too anytime. I'm happy to answer questions that I know the answer to. It's very hard to making the transition from high school or from grade school to high school, and then from high school to transition. If your child has an IEP, you should be having a transition discussion at 14 and a half. So look for that coming up and really focus in on your child's, the areas where he needs work, whether it be executive functioning or social skills, whatever. That don't, just because he might be doing okay academically, don't let them gloss over and push them through. That would be my recommendation.
Thank you.
Not that you asked, but so anyone else have any thoughts or questions? Okay.
Thank you, guys. This was good. Thanks very much.
All right. Oh, sure, Tracy. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I appreciate it. And we'll probably be having another call once they figure out what's happening with the students in the cluster programs returning or not returning to school. So once we get a final on that, Raise Your Hand will likely be having another call. So just look out for our Facebook posts and emails. And like I said, I'll be forwarding information from this call to everyone who registered for it. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Really great presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Chris. Oh, Chris hung up. All right, I'll call her separate. All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.